November 28th, 2024, 2:15 p.m. that afternoon. My mother's husband physically moved my chair away from the Thanksgiving table. 14 people watched. Not one objected. Rick Morrison's voice still echoes. Maya, I need this table for real estate professionals. You can eat in the kitchen. I'm Maya Chen. I'm 27. And until that moment, I thought humiliation had a floor. 26 days later, on Christmas Eve, IRS criminal investigation agents arrested him at his house. This is how I turned Thanksgiving dinner into a federal case. I'm a certified public accountant. I investigate financial crimes for a living. I just never thought I'd investigate my own family. The model home in Morrison Heights smelled like roasted turkey and desperation. Rick had been drinking since noon, telling war stories about real estate deals. My mother Trish hovered near him, refilling his wine glass, laughing at jokes that weren't funny. 14 people total. Turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce. Rick had insisted on hosting at his latest development property in Northwest Austin. A showcase for potential investors. At 2:15, the doorbell rang. Jerry Walsh, one of Rick's potential investors. Unannounced. Rick's face lit up. Jerry, you made it. Jerry looked uncomfortable. Rick, I didn't realize you were having a family thing. Nonsense. Business never sleeps. Maya, honey, I need you to move. I looked up from my plate. Rick, we're in the middle of the meal. This is a business table now. Real estate professionals only. He smiled at Jerry, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. You can rejoin us when you actually own something. He gripped the back of my chair and pulled it away from the table. Smooth. Practiced. Like removing a piece of furniture. I stood there, plate in hand, while 14 people pretended not to notice. Tanner started to say something. Dad? That's... Rick cut him off with a look. My mother's voice was soft. Almost a whisper. Sweetie, just... let's not make a scene. I carried my plate to the kitchen. Through the doorway, I could hear Rick launching into his pitch. I left at 2:45. No one asked me to stay. By 7 p.m. that night, I'd started building the case that would destroy him. But I couldn't have done it without what my father left behind. December 12th, 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, Bank of America on Congress Avenue in downtown Austin. The safety deposit box was small, metal, cold to the touch. Inside, a handwritten letter, copies of property management contracts, a rent roll spreadsheet, bank statements, and a post-it note in my father's handwriting. Veronica Huang has complete records. Trust her. The letter was dated May 2023, 2 months before my father died. I recognized his handwriting immediately, the way he made his capital M's, the slight slant to his lowercase t's. Maya, if you're reading this, I'm gone and something isn't right. I changed property managers because I suspected Rick was skimming. I couldn't prove it before I got too sick. Rick is charming but careless. Your mother will trust him because she's afraid to be alone. You're the only one with the training to catch this. Trust your training. Follow the money. Veronica can help. I'm sorry to leave you with this burden. Love, Dad. I sat in that small room for 20 minutes, just holding the letter. My hands were shaking. I read it 3 times. Each time the words, "I'm sorry to leave you with this burden," hit harder. My father had known. 18 months ago, dying of lung cancer, he'd known Rick was problematic, but he'd run out of time. I could have forwarded everything to a lawyer, waited months for them to review it, or I could do what I was trained to do. Quick aside before I show you what I built. You might be wondering what a CPA actually does in a situation like this. CPA stands for Certified Public Accountant, state license focusing on taxes, audits, financial statements, 4-part exam, 150 college credit hours, 1 to 2 years experience. Total cost? About $3,000. I earned my Texas CPA license 5 years ago. CFE stands for Certified Fraud Examiner, global credential from the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, focuses on detecting, investigating, and preventing fraud. 4-part exam. Costs about $400 for the exam plus $225 a year for membership. Veronica Huang holds this certification. CFA stands for Chartered Financial Analyst, Investment Management Credential, 3 levels. About 900 hours of total study time. Costs $3,000 to $4,000 total. I'm currently studying for level 2. Here's why this matters. A CPA can spot when numbers don't add up. A CFE can prove it was intentional. That combination is powerful, and it's learnable. No secret genius required. Studies show prosecutor conviction rates increase by 67% when defendants provide time-stamped contemporaneous notes versus testimony alone. That's why documentation matters. CPAs think in 5 questions. What should be happening? What is actually happening? Where's the gap? Is the gap intentional or just an error? Can I prove intent? In my father's case, his 3 commercial properties should have been generating specific rent each month, but the actual deposits were lower. The gap? $347,000. That's over 15 months. The pattern? Every discrepancy started in May 2024, when Rick took over property management. The proof? Rick had formed a new LLC called Morrison Property Holdings to redirect tenant payments. Pattern equals intent. In legal terms anyway. Back to the story. December 13th. I open my laptop at 9 p.m. First stop, Travis County Property Records. The website is free. Public information. New property management contracts had been filed in June 2024. Signed by Rick as estate agent, my mother's signature beneath his. Next, Texas Secretary of State Business Search. Also free. Morrison Property Holdings LLC, formed May 12, 2024. Registered agent, Richard Morrison. No mention of this LLC in any estate documents. On December 14th, I called 2 of my father's tenants directly. The medical office on Research Boulevard confirmed they'd been paying rent to Morrison Property Holdings since July, not to the estate account. Rick had sent them new payment instructions. The restaurant on South Lamar mentioned Rick had offered them a cash discount if they paid directly to him. The tenant didn't take it. But the offer had been made. I recorded both calls. Texas is a one-party consent state. That means you can record a conversation if one person consents, and that person can be you. Check your state laws. This is how you document verbal admissions. That evening, I requested my father's estate tax return. Form 706. As an heir, I had the right to see it. The estate had been underreported by $400,000. Rental income was omitted entirely. Rick had signed the return as agent without legal authority. Forgery. On December 15th, I met with Veronica Huang at her office in Domain Northside. She reviewed everything I'd gathered. Then she added her records. My father's complete books from 2008 to 2023. This is fraud, she said. Clear pattern. We need to file IRS Form 3949A, Information Referral. I'll submit it through my professional contact. And Maya, we need to file soon, before Rick can move money. By December 15th, I had a 47-page evidence packet ready. But evidence isn't justice. Evidence is paper. I needed the government to act. Fast. Look, I'm about to show you something that might seem complicated, but stick with me. This spreadsheet technique is the reason Rick's sitting in a federal prison right now instead of stealing from someone else's family. I call it the cross-reference matrix. It's an Excel spreadsheet that maps expected activity versus actual activity. Highlights discrepancies automatically, creates visual proof of patterns. My matrix had 7 sheets. Sheet 1, master list, every entity involved, 3 properties, 8 tenants, 1 estate account, 1 Rick's LLC, columns for name, role, expected behavior. Sheet 2, expected activity. 1 row per expected transaction. Example: Tenant A at Medical Arts Building. Expected rent $4,500 per month on the first. Destination: estate account. Sheet 3. Actual activity. Bank statements imported. Example: Tenant A. Actual $4,500 received, but deposited to Morrison Property Holdings account, not estate. Color-coded. Green equals correct account. Red equals wrong account. I know this is a lot of information coming at you fast. Let me show you why it matters. When I saw those 147 red flags cascade down my screen that December night, I knew I had him. This wasn't a feeling. This was math. And math doesn't lie in court. Back to the matrix. Sheet 4. Discrepancy sheet. The magic formula. Equals sheet 2 minus sheet 3. Automates variance calculation. Any variance greater than or equal to $100 flagged red automatically. Result? 147 red flags across 15 months. Sheet 5. Pattern recognition. Pivot table grouping variances by date, tenant, amount. Pattern revealed. All variances start May 2024. All involve Rick's LLC. Total: $347,000. In legal terms, pattern equals intent. Sheet 6. Evidence mapping. Links each discrepancy to physical proof. Cell A14 shows $1,500 short December 2024. Cell B14 says, see Exhibit F tenant email confirming payment to Rick. Makes a prosecutor's job easy. Sheet 7. Summary dashboard. 1-page visual. Total diverted: $347,000. Date range: May through November 2024. 15 months. Evidence count: 147 transactions plus 23 supporting documents. Implicated: Richard Morrison, Morrison Property Holdings LLC. Tools you need? Free. Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel Online, LibreOffice Calc. If you have the documents, this takes 6 to 10 hours over 3 days. I did mine December 13th through 15th. Nights after work. I'll link a template in the description. You can copy it and adapt to your situation. December 16th. Filing day, 10 a.m. Veronica's office. She submitted IRS Form 3949A via her professional contact at IRS Criminal Investigation. Attached: my 47-page evidence packet, her CPA professional declaration. Response time for professional referrals? Typically 30 days instead of 90 to 180. 2 p.m. My apartment. I filed online simultaneously. Texas Attorney General Consumer Protection Division. Estate fraud. Elder abuse. FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. IC3. Wire fraud because Rick used email to redirect payments. Travis County District Attorney. Forgery. Theft from estate. 4 agencies. 4 chances. I hit submit on all 4 within 2 hours. 4 p.m. Waiting began. Veronica called. Now we wait. Government moves slowly, but with 4 agencies, someone will act. I had doubts. What if they don't care? What if Rick gets away with it? The numbers don't lie. Neither does your evidence. Trust the process. 6 p.m. First response. Email from IRS Criminal Investigation. Your Form 3949A referral has been reviewed and assigned to Special Agent Martinez. Expect contact within 5 to 7 business days. They were actually investigating. Quick pause. You might be thinking, why file with 4 agencies instead of 1? Here's the strategy behind multi-agency filings. Core principle: filing 1 complaint usually gets buried. Filing 4 simultaneously creates pressure from multiple directions. IRS criminal investigation. Rick underreported income. Federal tax crime. Form 3949A. Free. Online. Any citizen can file. Response time 30 days for professional referrals. And IRSCI has a 90% conviction rate, highest in federal law enforcement. When they investigate, they win. Texas Attorney General Consumer Protection. Rick exploited widow Trish. Elder abuse, estate fraud, Online complaint. Free. Response 30 to 60 days. FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. Rick used email and wire transfers. Federal wire fraud. ic3.gov portal. Free. Wire fraud carries up to 20 years. Travis County District Attorney. Forgery happened in Travis County. State jurisdiction. In-person complaint. Estate fraud prioritized here. Here's the genius of this strategy. When 4 agencies get the same complaint simultaneously, they don't assume someone else will handle it. They coordinate, they share evidence, they build joint task forces. Rick faced 8 total counts because 4 agencies filed charges. That's leverage. 4 filings. 0 cost. 4 to 6 hours to prepare 1 evidence packet and submit to all 4. Pro tip: use the same packet for all agencies. Don't rewrite. Consistency is key. Back to December 17th. That's when Rick found out. 8 a.m. December 17th. Rick received IRS notice of examination. Formal investigation notification. 10:30 a.m. Rick called my cell. What did you do? What lies did you tell the IRS? Veronica had coached me earlier. I don't know what you're talking about. You should consult an attorney. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. I will bury you. I hung up, screenshot the call log, forwarded to Agent Martinez. Noon. Rick emailed me. If you don't withdraw whatever false reports you filed by 5 p.m. today, I will sue you for harassment, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. $500,000 damages. Your call. I didn't respond. Screenshot. Forwarded to Agent Martinez and my attorney. December 20th. 3 days later. Rick filed a lawsuit. Travis County Court. Allegations. False IRS report. Defamation. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Harassment. Seeks $500,000 damages plus injunction preventing me from contacting any agency. Legal term: SLAP suit. Strategic lawsuit against public participation, designed to intimidate whistleblowers. I called Veronica. Panic rising. Can he do this? Will I have to pay $500,000? It's a SLAP suit. Texas has anti-SLAP law. Your attorney will get it dismissed. But Rick's desperate. That means we're winning. December 21st. My attorney filed anti-SLAP motion. Argued my IRS report is protected speech. Reporting suspected crime. Requested dismiss Rick's suit plus award me attorney fees. That evening, family group text exploded. Trish to family. Maya has accused Rick of terrible things. This is tearing our family apart. Tanner. I think we should let the investigators do their job. There are questions I have too. Trish. Tanner. How can you say that about your father? My Aunt Linda. Trish. Maybe you should look at Maya's documents. Trish left the group chat. I didn't sleep that night. And then, December 22nd. Agent Martinez called. December 22nd. IRS-CI served subpoenas to Rick's banks. Agent Martinez called Veronica. We're coordinating with Travis County. Expect movement within 48 hours. Tanner Morrison provided a whistleblower statement. Testified Rick tried to involve him in the fraud scheme. Asked him to sign false documents. December 23rd. Rick's attorney advised him. Stop all communication. Delete nothing. Prepare for worst. Rick panicked. Attempted to transfer $83,000 from hidden savings to an offshore account. Cayman Islands property deed found in his safe. The bank flagged suspicious activity. Reported to IRS automatically. December 24th, Christmas Eve, 7 a.m. IRS criminal investigation agents, 4 agents in suits, Travis County Sheriff deputies, 3 deputies in uniform. Arrived at Rick's house in Westlake Hills. Search warrant served. Computers seized, phones, documents, financial records. Rick answered the door in pajamas. Agent Martinez. Richard Morrison, you're under arrest for wire fraud, tax evasion, forgery, and theft from an estate. This is insane. I want my lawyer. You'll get your call. Hands behind your back. Handcuffs applied. Rick escorted to the vehicle. Neighbors watching from yards. Christmas decorations visible everywhere. Trish stood in the doorway. Silent. Shocked. 9 a.m. Federal Courthouse, Austin. Rick arraigned. Charges read. Federal. Wire fraud. Tax evasion. State. Forgery. Theft from estate. Prosecutor presented flight risk evidence. Passport in go bag. $83,000 cash in garage safe. Cayman Islands property deed. Attempted wire transfer to offshore account December 23rd. Judge, Mr. Morrison, I find you a significant flight risk. Bail is set at $100,000 cash or bond, with GPS monitor and travel restrictions. 11 a.m. Trish posted bail, used her personal savings, $100,000, proved her loyalty. To Rick. Over me. 2 p.m. Agent Martinez called me. Miss Chen, I'm calling to inform you Richard Morrison was arrested this morning. You'll be contacted for victim impact statement at sentencing. Your evidence was extraordinary. Thank you. Does this mean it's over? The arrest is just the beginning. But you did your job. Now we do ours. I didn't feel triumph. I felt exhaustion. I sat in my apartment, looked at my father's letter on the desk, whispered, I did it, Dad. He can't hurt anyone else now. And I cried. Rick's trial was April 2025. 2-week trial. Federal charges in Western District of Texas. Week 1. Prosecution case. Veronica Huang testified as expert witness. Explained the cross-reference matrix. The $347,000 calculation. Tanner Morrison testified. Rick had asked him to sign false documents. Threatened his job if he refused. Tenants testified. Payments redirected to Rick's LLC. I testified. Victim impact, discovery process. When the prosecutor asked me to read my father's letter aloud in court, I almost couldn't do it. But then I looked at Rick. He was staring at his phone. Didn't even look up. That's when I knew I'd made the right choice. Week 2. Defense case. Rick testified against his attorney's advice, claimed he was streamlining property management, denied intent to defraud. Defense attacked me. Maya was motivated by Thanksgiving humiliation, fabricated evidence. Cross-examination destroyed Rick. Prosecutor showed the offshore account attempt December 23rd. Rick had no explanation for the go bag, the hidden cash, the Cayman property. Verdict. Jury deliberated 6 hours. Federal charges. Count 1 wire fraud, guilty. Counts 2 and 3 tax evasion, guilty. Count 4, tax evasion earliest year, not guilty. Jury gave slight benefit of doubt. Count 5 money laundering, not guilty. Prosecution couldn't prove Rick laundered versus just stole. State charges, forgery, guilty. Theft from estate, guilty. Rick stared blankly. Trish cried, held Rick's hand. I nodded, closed my eyes. June 2025, sentencing hearing. I delivered victim impact statement. Rick didn't just steal money. He stole my father's legacy. He stole my mother's ability to see clearly. He stole 15 months of my life while I built this case. But he didn't steal my ability to fight back. And he won't steal anyone else's future. Judge addressed Rick. Mr. Morrison, your refusal to accept responsibility aggravates your sentence. You showed no remorse. You attempted to flee. You blamed the victim. Federal sentence. 46 months federal prison at FCI Bastrop. $347,000 restitution to the estate. $75,000 fines. 3 years supervised release after prison. Cannot work in property management. Regular financial disclosures. State sentence. 5 years probation running concurrent with federal supervised release. Why 46 months and not more? First offense. Cooperated with asset forfeiture. Some money recovered before trial. Judge noted greed, not violence. Lower end of sentencing guidelines. Still significant. Judge said it sends a message. Rick reported to FCI Bastrop September 1st, 2025. Before I tell you where everyone is now, I want to ask you something. Was I right to report Rick? I know that sounds obvious. He committed crimes. Of course I was right. But let's consider the costs. What I gained. Father's properties protected. $5.5 million estate saved. Justice delivered. Rick in prison. Can't hurt anyone else. Self-respect. Financial security. Rental income $22,000 a month. What I lost. Mother's relationship. Maybe permanently. We haven't spoken since June. Family holidays. Not invited anymore. Extended family split. Social comfort. Known in Austin accounting circles as the woman who turned in her stepdad. Mental health. Anxiety. Ongoing therapy. Trust issues. What Trish lost. Second marriage. Divorced Rick in May 2025. Not because she believed he was guilty, because he tried to flee. She was embarrassed. Social standing. Church gossip. Friends distanced. Financial support gone. Both husband and daughter. Isolated. What Tanner lost. His job. Rick's company dissolved. Relationship with father. Rick disowned him for testifying. Family unity. Brothers distant. What Rick's future victims didn't lose. Rick can't obtain property management license anymore. Convicted felon. Can't exploit other widows. Public record warns others. His name is Googleable. Experts estimate he would have victimized 3 to 5 more people if he'd continued. Here are 4 different ways to think about whether I was right. Utilitarian ethics. Greatest good for greatest number. Rick in prison prevents future victims. One family's pain versus many families saved. The numbers justify the action. Deontological ethics. Duty-based. Crimes must be reported regardless of consequences. Right action is right action, period. Reporting is moral duty. Care ethics. Relationship-focused. Prioritize relationships over abstract justice. I could have demanded restitution privately, avoided destroying the family, reporting sacrificed care for justice. Is that worth it? Virtue ethics. Character-based. What would a person of integrity do? Living with complicit silence corrodes character over time. Reporting preserves integrity, even at great cost. Here's my take. There's no clean answer. I made a choice I respect. But I also respect people who choose differently in similar situations. The cost of justice is real. Sometimes it's too high. Sometimes silence is self-preservation, not cowardice. What I do know, I couldn't have lived with silence. For my character, reporting was necessary. Your character might require different choices. And that's okay. What's not okay? Rick's theft. That part isn't debatable. I still have my father's letter. It's framed on my office wall now, next to my CPA license. Some days I read it and feel proud. Other days I read it and cry. Both are okay. It's December 2025 now, 1 year since that Thanksgiving dinner. I still work at Redstone Financial Partners, promoted to senior auditor in August. I moved into my father's office building on Research Boulevard, converted 1 unit into a loft apartment, live there rent-free. I hired a property management company. I'm not managing the properties myself. Boundaries. Rental income is $22,000 a month. I use it to pay down student loans, save aggressively, donate to elder abuse prevention nonprofits. I'm considering graduate school, MBA plus CFP certification, certified financial planner, haven't decided yet. Dating casually, not ready for anything serious. Therapy is ongoing, anxiety managed but not cured. Trust issues persist. I'm working on them. My mother divorced Rick in May, took back the name Chen, moved to Houston to live with my Aunt Linda. In June, she sent me a birthday card. I'm sorry for not believing you. I wasn't ready to see the truth. Can we talk? I responded. Mom, I'd like to rebuild our relationship, but I need you in therapy first. Individual therapy and eventually family therapy with me. I'll pay for it. Let me know if you're willing. She hasn't responded. As of today, December 2025, we haven't spoken. My boundary. I'm not responsible for her healing. I'm only responsible for mine. Tanner lost his job when Rick's company dissolved. He's working as a project manager at a different development firm here in Austin. He apologized in April. I knew something wasn't right, Maya, but I was scared. I should have spoken up sooner. I told him the truth. Your testimony helped convict him. You did the right thing when it mattered. We have coffee every few months. Cordial. Not close, but respectful. Blake maintains his distance, lives in Dallas. Sent a brief apology text. No ongoing relationship. Rick is at FCI Bastrop. Serving 46 months. Eligible for parole in 2028. He writes letters to Tanner. Blames everyone else. Never apologized to me. Never took responsibility. He'll be released in 2028 with 3 years supervised release. Felony record. Can't work in property management or finance. People ask me if it was worth it. Worth losing my mother. Worth the nightmares. Worth being known as the woman who turned in her stepdad. I don't know. But I know I couldn't live with myself if I'd stayed silent. My father built those properties over 30 years. Rick thought he could take them in 15 months. The math didn't work. Sometimes the cost of justice is steep, but the cost of silence is steeper. I paid one. I couldn't afford the other. Last week, I was sitting in my father's old office, reviewing property financial statements, spreadsheets open, coffee mug that says, "Numbers don't lie," on my desk. Wearing my oversized cardigan. My phone buzzed. Text from Veronica. Dinner this week? I have a mentee I want you to meet. Similar situation to yours. I smiled. Typed back. Yes, I'll help. That's the thing about going through something like this. You can't undo it. You can't unsee what you saw, but you can use it. You can help the next person who's sitting in a hotel room on Thanksgiving night, wondering if they're strong enough to fight back. You are. Trust your training. Follow the money. Document everything. And when 14 people watch someone humiliate you and not one objects, remember this. Their silence says more about them than it ever will about you. That's my story. If it helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. If you have questions about the CPA techniques I used, the matrix, the multi-agency filing, the one-party consent recordings, leave a comment. I answer everyone. The cross-reference matrix template and all the forms I mentioned are linked in the description. Next time, I'll tell you about the woman who used her property management skills to expose her brother's scheme to steal their grandmother's house. You won't believe how she documented everything using nothing but her smartphone and a voice recorder app.